Hello, let's talk about searching files and directories. An analysis of any application starts with information gathering. As a web application, all the required information can be gathered from files and directories necessary for web app functioning. Open files and directories stored on application server are among the most widespread security issue. Many of these open files can undermine cybersecurity and cause server damages if the adversary can gain access to them. There may be files of different types. Admin panels. Access to admin panel files allows attacker to put the entire project at risk. It was mentioning that they will need account details, but this will be the topic for another lesson. Backup and log contains user account details as well as the application source code. Version control system files. The adversary can restore the application source code with the help of the artifacts of the version control system. Debug files are the files and directories with a wide range of functionalities. Once the attacker gets access to the piece of information, they can compromise the entire web application and the whole infrastructure. Let's suppose we have a web application with the following structure. Use a browser to visit web application and search a few files and directories. There are some folders containing JS and CSS files and a couple of API calls. This is clearly not enough to ensure the security of our resource. To analyze it, we'll use an automated tool like dirsearch. So you run the tool. Please look at the files we've got. Let's explore them. First of all, test.php is the most eye-catching thing. The debug file and its name hint the fact that it's used for testing. You can definitely find the same files outside our hypothetical servers. If exposed, these files are usually bad news. Just to illustrate, there is an example. A researcher identified this file while analyzing one of the resources, and file helped to get information regarding to a server. Suppose that our file can provide some clues. Let's move on. Another file of our interest is Git. It may indicate that the resource uses Git as a version control system. And what about real-world cases? One security researcher managed to find a folder which contained similar artifacts, and he was able to restore a part of the files. Having analyzed them, he discovered a lot of different configuration files. And what's more important, he found keys to connect to server. And as a matter of fact, a solely forgotten folder allows compromising a number of servers, and the researcher was handsomely rewarded. Let's say there were some artifacts in the Git folder, and they allowed restoring test.php files, access to which we hadn't got originally. And if we look at them, you can find that some files are created in backup folder. That's interesting. Backup is a directory that may contain web application backups and everything about them that range from user or admin account details to source code of the app. And for example, this case refers to the Defense Department of the United States of America. It tells us that even a well-run and credible organization can sometimes have security issues. What else? Files which contain logs can show various kinds of information like user visits, personal accounts, queries, user IDs, etc. This is an example for another discovery. The author of this report was able to find debugging information like user device information, user ID, and so on. This information could be used to access personal accounts or services that require authentication. So, we could just find another hidden URL that wasn't initially found. Files can't always be a value. An application may call some kind of API methods while operating. Yet, in most cases, these methods include names which speak for themselves. And you can go through and try part of these names to discover hidden methods. So, in other words, a web application is like a big iceberg, and that is much larger underwater. And pieces of information that are hidden are huge. You just need to discover them. To search for files and directories, you can implement various automated tools. Most programs use previously prepared dictionaries to search for valuable files and directories. The first one is dirp. It's enough to specify an address and it will search for hidden but useful information about the resource with the help of built-in dictionary. dirp is simple and console web content scanner. Another tool which is considered the most widespread and popular, is Dirbuster. It works with both Linux and Windows, and its distinctive feature is the presence of window that enables setting changes. The last but not least tool is DirSearch. It has a built-in dictionary that is good for file searches. So, how can you prevent attacks due to open files and directories? First of all, do not store any sensitive information in open access. Second one, try to delete all unnecessary files and directories in web application directory. So, that's all. Let's do some practice.